This is Franky Rose's Think Tank. Here's your host, Franky Rose.
Hey guys, welcome to the Think Tank. Hey P9, hello Shauna. So, being that today Jennifer Crumbley was convicted on all 4 counts of I just felt like some puzzle pieces were kind of missing. So I talked to, actually, it was Dandy. And, thought maybe it would be not such a bad idea to take a look at the Miller's hearing with Ethan Crumbley. So I'm going to get this going. Hello, hello, hello. Yep, we're live. We're live. So let's just see what's going on here. I'm so interested. I didn't watch any of this trial, so I really have no idea what happened in this case other than he pled. So let's check it out, guys.
All rise. Fulton County Circuit Court is now in session with the Honorable Kwame Rowe presiding.
Thank you. Good morning. You may all be seated.
Your Honor, calling People versus Ethan Crumbley, case number 2022-279-506-FC.
Thank you. Good morning, counsel. Appearances for the record.
Karen McDonald on behalf of the people of the state of Michigan.
Thank you. Mark East on behalf of the people.
Your Honor, David Williams on behalf of the people.
Paulette Michelle Lofton on behalf of Mr. Ethan Crumbley, who's standing to my left.
Amy Hack on behalf of Ethan Crumbley.
Good morning, Your Honor. Deborah H. McKelvey, court-appointed lawyer, guardian ad litem.
Thank you. With that being said, you may all be seated. Before we get started, there are a few things that I need to state for the record. It's my understanding that there will be at least 2 minor witnesses testifying in this case. I will note that to the media that's in the courtroom, when the minor witnesses are testifying, you are not to video record or photograph their faces. I will allow you to have the audio recording of their testimony, but you shall not video their faces or photo their faces, and so that should not be done throughout this case. I will note that the people will identify for the record before a minor witness is called, and so that way you are placed on notice. With that being said, to those in the courtroom, I understand the sensitive nature of this case, and I'm going to ask everyone, because this is court, to please maintain composure. If you do need to step out of the courtroom, there is a composure room outside of this courtroom where you all can go and try to compose yourselves and return to the courtroom. However, I can't have any outbursts because we need to make sure that we protect the integrity of these proceedings. And so I will ask you, if you need to take some time, please feel free to take some time in the composure room and then return to the courtroom if need be. I will also note that please do not record these proceedings using your cellular phone. If I see anyone with their cellular phone out and it appears that they are recording these proceedings, your cellular phone will be taken. With that being said, people, any preliminary issues or statements that we need to address?
Thank you, Judge, and I appreciate the opportunity to have a conference in the court's chambers. One thing that we did not discuss, we're asking the court to take judicial notice of the prior placement hearings and any court hearings that occurred.
Oh my God, that blonde bitch is back. Damn, that woman on the other side sitting behind her looks like my mother. Good God.
The dependency in this case, I think, today as well.
Thank you. The court will take judicial notice of such.
Thank you, Judge. We do have prepared a exhibit binder for defense as well as the court. In speaking with defense in chambers, it's our understanding that the exhibits will be admitted, so I'll make a general statement of admissibility for exhibits 1 through 62. And as the court stated, I will notify the court prior to extremely sensitive information and photos, images being broadcast on the screen of the presentation of our case. That way, we will ask the court to request the media not to film or broadcast those images in any way, Judge.
Thank you. With that being said, defense, any preliminary issues or statements?
Yes, Your Honor, that is correct. We also have an exhibit binder for the court when the court is ready. We would be admitting defendants exhibits A through W.
Thank you. Are those also stipulated?
They are.
Yes, Judge.
Thank you. With that being said, peoples, and you stipulate to peoples 1 through 62.
Yes, Your Honor, I would just ask the court to note my previous objections that were filed in a motion and the court ruled on them.
Thank you. The court notes your previous objection. The people's exhibits 1 through 62 are hereby admitted as evidence. Defendant's exhibits A through W are hereby admitted as evidence. That being said, any other preliminary issues from defense?
Your Honor, I know that this is very different from a trial, but we are asking the court to consider allowing Mr. Crumbley to be taken out of all of the chains and handcuffs.
Thank you. Respectfully, I'm going to have him still in the chains because this is considered an evidentiary hearing. So this is not a trial, and so he will remain in chains. However, he can have one hand that's unhandcuffed so he can take any notes or communicate with counsel.
Perfect. Would the court like me to approach with the exhibit binder? I
Yes.
don't know if you already have the.
I will take binders from both the people as well as defense.
Thank you, Judge.
Thank you. Thank you. That being said, any other preliminary issues from defense?
Your Honor, I plan on using the PowerPoint, the TV in my opening. So I know we tested it yesterday. We should be good, but I may just need a moment once it turns to my turn.
Thank you.
Thank you.
With that being said, people, do you wish to present an opening statement?
We do, Your Honor.
Thank you. You may.
Your Honor, my name is Karen McDonald and I represent the people of the state of Michigan. The hearing today is the most important legal proceeding in the lives of nearly everyone in this courtroom. It is incredibly important for the defendant. His life is at stake. But everyone else is here in this courtroom today because this defendant made the decision to kill 4 other people and to take their lives instead of his own, injured several others, and terrorized hundreds. So the hearing today is just as important to these victims as it is to the defendant. And it is important to this entire community. Almost all of us have come to believe that a juvenile sentenced to life without parole should be exceedingly rare. And I believe that. I embrace that. I want to be clear that we acknowledge that we bear the burden of proof and we have a heightened standard when we ask for a juvenile to be sentenced to life without parole. As this court knows, you must consider the mitigating factors set out in Miller versus Alabama, and we also embrace that. There has been a misconception that charging this defendant as an adult and charging his parents is somehow inconsistent. That is not true. They are charged for doing 2 different things. This defendant has already pled guilty to killing the 4 victims who died, shooting 7 other victims with the intent to kill them, and terrorizing everyone else who was at Oxford High School that day. He's the only one who pulled the trigger. The parents are charged with involuntary manslaughter for their gross negligence in buying the obviously troubled son a gun, for not securing it safely, and then for not doing anything about it when they saw the defendant's drawings on the day of the shooting. They are not charged for being bad parents, and no one is saying they pulled the trigger. What we're saying is they had an obligation to the students who died, and their gross negligence resulted in those students' deaths. Neither one of them gets a pass because of the acts of the other. The defendant does not get a pass because his parents were grossly negligent. He is the one who researched and planned and carried out the shooting. And they don't get a pass because they gave their son a gun that he used, knowing he was a danger to use it. Each of them is only being held accountable for their own actions. It's important to be candid about what we do and do not know about this defendant. No one can tell us what he will be like in 40 years. None of us have a crystal ball, and we are not going to present any witnesses who will say there is 0 chance of possible rehabilitation. No one can say that for sure. But this hearing is not just about the defendant's potential to be rehabilitated. It starts and ends with proportionality. The court has to consider the Miller factors, but also every facet of the offender and the offense, and that's what we will present to you in this hearing. This is an offense unlike any other in this country or state has ever seen, not just the number of children who died, but the way the defendant killed them, the amount of research and planning and preparation that went into it, and the way he carried it out, the picking and choosing of who would die. The video of the shooting doesn't have audio, but you will have no trouble interpreting the defendant's demeanor as he kills people and kids in that school. The way he walks up to them and fires at point blank range, the way he takes a shooter's stance in the middle of a hallway to kill Tate Meir. And this is an offender like no other. The video of the defendant torturing a 1-day-old baby bird shows that he is capable of a level.
Okay, so we're going to start getting into this, like all the twisted stuff that this kid was doing. And yeah, this prosecutor should know this case inside and out. She's just a little biatch, in my opinion, and not due to her stand on where everything should be as far as Ethan and his parents, just because she seems like a biatch.
Of violence that most humans are not. And he takes joy in it. And he recorded it. The way he researched and planned the shooting, the way he thought through the weapon he wanted and how he got it, the way he researched and knew that Michigan does not have a death penalty, and that he stated over and over, I know I'll spend the rest of my life in prison. And one of the most extraordinary things that makes this defendant different than any other mass shooter in this country, as far as we know and can tell, is that he decided in advance that he was not going to kill himself. And he researched response times to make sure that he surrendered before the police arrived. And he did not because he wanted to witness. He stayed alive because he wanted to witness the suffering he created. When the United States Supreme Court and the Michigan Supreme Court talk about the rare case and the defendant, this is the one, Your Honor. Finally, we seek to present this evidence to the court in the most respectful way we can to the hundreds of victims in this case, the parents who lost their children that day, and those that are here with scars and bullet holes in their bodies. Your Honor, there is only one way to do that. It is painful and gut-wrenching, but the way to honor victims is the very same thing, Your Honor, that is essential to this court making its decision on whether or not this sentence of life without parole is proportional. Your Honor, this is it. We must tell the truth. Our witnesses must tell the truth, and they must tell all of it. We must have the courage and strength to listen and view the facts despite how horrifying it may seem. That is what we are called upon to do, and it is the only way to do so with the utmost respect that these victims deserve. Thank you.
Thank you. Defense?
And if I just have one moment. to
Yes.
make sure that
Absolutely.
Yeah, there is no such thing as justice in a situation like this. You can't bring them back. At least this one doesn't have cue cards.
Good morning again, Your Honor. I want to first go over the law that we must use during this hearing. We're here today because of the case of Miller versus Alabama. That's a U.S. Supreme Court case from 2012. They held that juveniles facing the most serious penalties must be individually sentenced, and courts must have the opportunity to consider mitigating circumstances. Those are chronological age, family and home environment, circumstances of the crimes, not the facts, but the circumstances, incompetencies associated with youth, and the possibility of rehabilitation. We also look to Montgomery versus Louisiana, a U.S. Supreme Court case of 2016. A lifetime in prison is a disproportionate sentence for all but the rarest of children, reserved for those whose crimes reflect irreparable corruption. 2021, People versus Bennett. They state that nearly every situation a sentencing court is asked to weigh in on the appropriateness of a life without parole sentence will involve heinous and oftentimes abhorrent details. The fact that a vile offense occurred is not by itself enough to warrant the imposition of life without parole. A court must undertake a searching inquiry into the particular juvenile, as well as the particular offense, and determine whether this is the truly rare juvenile for whom life without parole is constitutionally proportionate. And most recently, in People versus Taylor, the Michigan Supreme Court held in 2022 that when a prosecutor seeks to impose life without parole for a crime committed by a juvenile, the
So I'm really unfamiliar about what a Miller hearing is. So does it have something to do with whether or not these people are old enough to take responsibility, or how they can be charged as an adult possibly?
prosecutor bears the burden to rebut a presumption that life without parole is a disproportionate sentence. The standard for rebuttal is clear and convincing evidence. Clear and convincing means that the evidence is highly and substantially more likely to be true than untrue. Your Honor, this hearing is not like something that we are used to. Usually when the prosecutor and defense stand before the court, we're here for a trial. And in that scenario, the prosecutor has to prove each and every element beyond a reasonable doubt. This hearing is distinctly different. Mr. Crumbley has already pled. He raised his right hand. He told this court that he was guilty of committing all 24 counts against him. We are here today because the people filed a motion for life without parole following that plea. We must move away from the trial mentality and into a sentencing phase. The facts of this case are difficult, they're unpleasant, unnecessary. The images that you will be shown are not something you are ever likely to forget. But through the evidence, through the witnesses and our experts, we believe that the court will agree that the people are not able to meet their burden in rebutting the presumption against a life without parole sentence. The experts and witnesses that will come before you will not give you an excuse for Ethan's actions. They will give you an explanation as to how Ethan ended up with a weapon in his hand on November 30th of 2021. As Jillian Peterson, a nationally recognized expert on the psychology of school shooters, concluded when called by the people at a Daubert hearing in the case of Jennifer and James Crumbley, there's a common misconception by the public that mass shooters are evil monsters who simply snap and commit a shooting one day. At the end of this hearing, we will be asking for the imposition of a term of years, because it will be clear to you that 15-year-old Ethan Crumbley is not one of those rare juveniles that is irreparably corrupt and without the ability to be rehabilitated. Thank you very much.
Thank you. People, you may call your first witness.
Thank you, Judge. People call Lieutenant Tim Willis. We have a PowerPoint presentation, if I may.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Detective, if you could, please approach the witness stand. You're then going to stand in the witness box, face my clerk to be sworn, sir.
Please raise your hand. Under penalty of perjury, do you swear or affirm that the statements you're about to make to this court will be the whole truth?
Yes. Sir, if you could, please state your full name for the record and spell your last name.
Timothy Willis, Willis.
Thank you. People, your witness.
Thank you, Judge. Sir, when you're ready.
So basically, this is a trial before the trial type of thing. Like, I didn't realize they called witnesses and what have you.
Can you please state and spell your full name for the record? I'm sorry. Excellent, thank you. Sir, I first want to ask you how you're employed.
I'm a lieutenant with the Oakland County Sheriff's Office,
Okay. How long have you been a police officer?
over 27 years.
What's your current assignment?
I'm a lieutenant in the a detective lieutenant in the Investigative Forensic Services Division.
And sir, can you tell me please what your general job duties are?
So I oversee, excuse me, I oversee our computer crimes unit, our warrants division, our fugitive apprehension team, and our special investigations unit.
Now, you've been a lieutenant since 2016, is that right?
That's correct.
Sir, I want to direct your attention right to November the 30th, 2021. Do you remember that day?
I do.
Were you working on November the 30th?
I was.
Do you recall where you were when you were notified of the shooting at Oxford High School?
I was in the actually at the prosecutor's office discussing another case.
Tell me, please, about what time were you notified?
I think it was about, the day was kind of crazy, but I believe it was around 1 o'clock.
And when you received the notification, what did you do?
So, am I understanding right? They go through this so they know how to press the proper, how do I put that? So they're able to put him away for life, being that he is under 18.
I left the prosecutor's office, immediately made a phone call to try to confirm the information. I got confirmation immediately. I then got into my detective, which is just a Chevy Traverse with just some lights on it, and proceeded directly to the Oxford High School.
When you say proceeded, can you tell me about that drive, please?
It's a little, honestly, it's a little blurry. I don't recall all of it. I do remember the route I took, and I remember going up M24, and it was chaos. There were cars, police cars, emergency vehicles, and personal vehicles, all flying to that scene, which was kind of shocking to me. I mean, I typically expect cars with lights on it to do that, but once I realized, or I actually followed a civilian car to the scene, and I realized it was an off-duty officer that came from home.
Was he looking for his child?
Yeah.
Now, as the lieutenant in charge of the Special Investigative Unit, you arrived on scene. Would it be fair to say that you were one of the ranking officers when you arrived?
Yes.
Okay. Is that how you came to be the officer in charge of this investigation?
Yes. It's understood at the sheriff's office that major crime scenes will be handled usually by the Special Investigations Unit, and the fact that I was the lieutenant of it, it was how I became the OIC in that case.
Now, can you tell us, please, what does it mean to be OIC, or officer in charge?
So the officer in charge of the investigation, basically, especially with one this size, hands out assignments, follow-up detective work, be it interviews with witnesses.
Is this the same guy that got teary on the stand in Jennifer Crumbley's case?
Collection of evidence, or determining what evidence needs to be taken and analyzed forensically or otherwise. We also work with gathering, putting together reports, reviewing all the reports, talking with the prosecutor's office, and help assist in determining charges.
So, for lack of a better term, you were running the show as far as the investigation was concerned?
Yes, sir.
Have you ever seen anything like this?
Not even closer.
Now, there was a massive amount of evidence in this case. Now, is it fair to say that you reviewed all of that evidence, at least in a supervisory role?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And as part of your duties as lieutenant in your division, you also supervise the computer crimes unit. Would that be right?
That's correct.
Okay. So what do the computer crimes unit detectives do?
So they handle any electronic evidence that we may take as a course of an investigation, and then they forensically analyze it, meaning to hook it up to their systems, to obtain images, pictures, pictures, videos, recordings, text, a lot of different ways to get into either computers, phones, or tablets.
Okay. And now, you're aware that the defendant's cell phone was seized when he was arrested on November the 30th?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And it was the computer crimes unit that conducted that forensic analysis?
Correct.
Okay, so when we received our presentation today, we refer to evidence found in the defendant's phone to be computer crimes unit who actually did the physical extraction?
Yes, sir.
Sir, I want to take you right to the scene, November the 30th. If you could please tell us the names of those who were killed.
Excuse me. Tate Muir, Hannah St. Juliana, Justin Schilling, I'm sorry.
Take a moment, sir.
Tim, we've never done anything like this. It's okay.
Heartbreaking. Oh my God, you guys. Oh, God.
Madison Baldwin. I'm so sorry.
Aw.
Who was wounded?
Hey, Shauna.
Phoebe Arthur, Elijah Mueller, Riley Franz, Kylie Osage, John Asciuto, Molly Darnell, Aiden Watson.
The person who committed these murders and attempted murders in court today?
Yes.
Please tell the court what he's wearing today.
He's sitting next to counsel. He's wearing orange jail uniform.
With the record reflect identification defendant for this hearing.
So reflected.
A detective, the Oxford High School is equipped with surveillance cameras. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And that covers both interior as well as exterior footage.
Yes, sir.
And in fact, there's over 90 cameras in that school.
Yes, sir.
Whoa.
And they were operational on November the 30th.
Yes, sir.
That was part of your investigation, your duties as the officer in charge. Did you review the surveillance footage of the interior of the school on November the 30th, 21?
I did, yeah.
Okay. Now, you also reviewed eyewitness statements and things of the like?
Yes, sir.
Based upon that investigation, are you able to tell us where the shooting started at Oxford High School?
Yes, sir.
May I approach the witness, Judge?
Yes.
Lieutenant, all of these exhibits have been admitted. I'm going to give you a binder for you to refer to.
Okay.
First, I'll direct you to the screen here. This is People's Exhibit 1. Can you see that, sir?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And this is a map of the layout of the Oxford High School, that'd be right?
That's correct.
And the highlighted portions, what significance is that?
So the highlighted portion is what's referred to as the 200 hallway, and that's where the entire shooting occurred within that highlighted area.
Now, this is a zoomed portion of that, and we have exit doors identified. Is that right?
That's correct, sir.
Okay. So door 7 is on the left next to room 256, 249, then moves on to door 6, door 5, and door 4.
Correct.
So where did the shooting first start?
The shooting began, the defendant exited the bathroom just above room 258 there on your left. He made a left-hand turn out of that bathroom and began shooting.
So the invest. Are you able to see this now?
I can.
258 right here.
That's correct.
Okay, and the bathroom is signified here with the laser pointer.
That's correct. He exited that bathroom, turned left, and began shooting.
No, sir. He
Good
was
day.
in the handicap stall before he exited the bathroom. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And is this photograph from the handicap stall in that bathroom?
Correct.
And these are been identified as the defendant's items.
Correct.
Okay, tell us what was found in that stall.
You know, officer or not, can you imagine the PTSD that these people have to live with, it's chilling, you know, seasoned cops, and they're having a hard time even saying some of these names, let alone have to sit there and look at that kid sitting there. Oh my God.
A miscellaneous homework papers or work papers from school, a hardbound journal, leather journal, some wires from, power cords from computers and things of that nature.
Did you examine those papers found in the backpack?
Yeah, the assignments, yes.
Okay, tell us what of note, if anything, was discovered in those pieces of paper.
I believe there was 93 pieces of paper somewhere in that area, over 90. And on those over 90 pages, there was over 50 images of guns drawn.
Now, there's no evidence that any teacher or administrator saw those particular pieces of paper, is that right?
No evidence, no.
Okay. You said there was a handwritten journal?
Yes, sir.
Okay, that's People's Exhibit 3, that's been admitted. Have you read that entire journal?
I have.
Now, if the journal were to be photocopied, how many pages would it be as far as the actual written portions?
22.
Okay. And out of those 22, the first written page has a drawing of a rocket, am I right? And a quote from a book?
Yes, sir.
Now, the remaining 21 pages with actual content, can you tell me how many of those 21 pages refer to the school shooting?
Every single one of them.
Were you able to identify that journal as being written by the defendant?
Yes, sir.
How's that?
Several reasons. It was found amongst his items there. His name was written throughout it. Later we'll see another assignment where we've seen his handwriting on, and that matched the handwriting in the journal. It also references events that occurred at the school with the deer head weeks prior, the bird head prior, the fact that his father purchased a Kel-Tec. So
you're able to tell from the overall context of the passages that it was in fact the defendant's and he did in fact write.
yes.
I'm going to refer to portions of this journal, and feel free if you have written notes in front of you to refer to it.
Okay. Yes, sir.
We're going to start with page 22 of Exhibit 3. Looking at the screen, sir, can you tell us please what the defendant wrote?
Yes, he wrote, excuse me, I want to shoot up the fucking school so badly. Soon I'm going to buy a 9mm pistol.
Now, further down on page 22, can you please tell us what the defendant wrote?
Yes. Ready and the 9mm ready. Then I walk behind any girl, pretty in parentheses, and shoot them in the back of the head. I will then shoot anyone I see, aiming for the head until I have to reload. I will then find a full class.
What a sick little
The
shite.
defendant indicated he wanted to aim for the head and then turn the firearm onto classrooms.
Yes, sir.
First, I'm going to refer you to exhibits 4, 5, and 6. Those are the autopsy protocols of the murdered children. Sir, you reviewed these?
I have.
Now, out of the 4 murdered children, how many were shot in the head?
Yeah, brutally so.
Of the
3 of those individuals were shot in the head, is that right?
That's right, yes.
And then out of the 7 wounded, an additional 3 were shot in the upper extremities, neck, face, or head area, is that right?
Correct.
Now, he also wrote in the passage about wanting to turn the firearm into the classroom. Did you find evidence in the school that the defendant actually did that?
Yes, sir, we did.
I'm going to refer you to Exhibit 8 on the screen. What is this photograph of?
So our forensic lab who processed the scene, that is a rod that indicates the direction of travel from a fired round. So as you can see, that fired round went through that the little steel barrier outside the door, 247.
And this is classroom 244. What are we looking at here?
A similar thing, but this time it went through the glass.
This is classroom, or this is office 224, and this is Miss Molly Darnell. Is that right?
That's correct, sir. And there's 3 rods through that door, indicating 3 rounds penetrated that door.
And this is classroom 223. What are we looking at here?
Yeah, that appears to be a round that didn't penetrate all the way through the door, but was obviously shot at.
And then 220, what do we have down here?
Again, we have an additional round that was fired through a door.
Finally, classroom 215.
Yeah, we have 3 more rounds fired into the glass partition outside of in the classroom, I should say.
Now, Lieutenant, it's true that each of these 6 classrooms were occupied by children hiding at that point in time. Is that correct?
Yes.
Now, I'm going to refer back to page 22 of the defendant's journal. Please tell the court what the defendant wrote.
I will continue shooting people until police breach the building. I will then surrender to them and plead guilty to life in prison.
Baxter, how was the defendant apprehended?
He, deputy's arrival, he placed the gun on a garbage can behind him, got on his knees and put his hands straight up in the air.
So that was directly after he executed Justin Schilling and Keegan Gregory ran for his life. Is that right?
That is correct.
Is there any evidence that the defendant tried to run?
Not at all.
Did he try to fight?
None.
So, in fact, he did a complete surrender, like you wrote.
Absolutely.
So his mom just today got convicted of all 4 of these deaths and got manslaughter over 4 times. So she's charged, so is the dad, but she's been convicted now, and the dad is next.
Now, at that point, the point he surrendered, was there anybody else left to shoot?
No, I mean, at that point he had, after Keegan Gregory ran out of the bathroom, there was no one left in the bathroom. He came out. The hallways were obviously clear except for law enforcement coming down the hallway. And so there's no more victims for him to.
So at the time the defendant opened the bathroom door and placed his gun on top of the trash can, the police were not next to him. In fact, you couldn't see them at that point.
That's correct.
I'll refer you to page 21 of the defendant's journal. Can you please tell us what the defendant wrote there?
You're very welcome, Dandy.
So in the margin there, it says, I wonder what life in prison will be like.
Okay. And then throughout this page, the defendant write a list of items it appears that he plans to take on November the 30th.
Yes.
Tell us about that, please.
It says 1 9mm pistol, extra mags. And then to the right, it says half blood, and the word underneath that, it says fuck. And then 2 to 5 Molotov cocktails, 1 to 3 powdered, I believe it's NOS flares, pair of gloves, a hat, jacket, mask, knife.
Now, Lieutenant, I want to take you back to the photograph of the defendant's backpack in the bathroom.
Yes, sir.
You mentioned these cords, these wires. Did that cause the investigators concern when they initially appeared on it?
Yes. So to explain it, our first step is to identify, locate the shooter. That was done. Once he was in custody, we also looked for secondary shooters and any additional type devices. But we also try to identify victims and sweep the rest of the building. During that sweep, that's when this was discovered. On or around that time, we also became aware of a YouTube video that the defendant made throwing Molotov cocktails. There was some concern by the officers who approached that there may be some secondary device in that bag.
Second device means what?
That explosive device. So we notified the Michigan State Police bomb squad. They came in to x-ray it.
And of course, this all occurred before anyone ever examined the journal, is that right?
Yes, sir.
So would I.
He also wrote about a hat, a jacket, is that right?
Yes, sir.
In reviewing the video, did you discover the defendant changed his appearance before the shooting?
Yes, prior to going in, he has a gray hoodie on, his backpack, no hat. He comes out. It appears that hoodie was just flipped inside out. He dropped his backpack and he's wearing a black knit cap.
Now, page 21, the defendant indicated a date and a time, and then read the passage right underneath that.
The date is 11/9/2021 as of 2:13 p.m. I want the world to remember me.
Now, we talked a little bit about how computer crimes is the division of the Oakland County Sheriff's Office responsible for forensic examination of digital evidence such as a cell phone. And the defendant's cell phone was seized and searched pursuant to search warrant. Am I correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, understanding that you're not personally a computer or cell phone forensic examiner, you did review the entire extracted download. Is that right?
Yes.
Now, did you uncover, and your detectives uncover, in the course of reviewing that cell phone extraction, a text message thread between the defendant and another juvenile, who we will not name, and that text message thread in particular was over 20,000 texts in total, is that right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And if it were to be printed out, it would be over 5,000 pages.
Correct.
Okay. Now, first, for the record, Judge and for counsel, we have Exhibit 15, is the copy of the full file extraction. That's on a portable hard drive. Should either party want to refer to it for the court to review it.
Thank you, so noted.
Thank you, Judge. Now, in the course of this investigation, Lieutenant, were the defendant's parents' phones seized and searched as well?
Yes.
Okay. So we also have Exhibits 16 and 17 for their cell phone extraction should either party or the court need to review that, Judge.
Thank you, so noted.
Lieutenant, for the record, Exhibit 18 is an isolated portable hard drive of that text message thread that we recovered. It's between the defendant and the other juvenile. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. And again, you've had the opportunity to review those text messages?
Yes.
Now, referring you to the slide, this is a text message from March 17th, 2021, sent at 12:41 a.m. to 12:46 a.m., UTC -4. And for the record, every text message has a date and a corresponding page number to Exhibit 18. And this time has been converted from UTC to Eastern Standard Time. Is that right, Lieutenant?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Please tell us what the defendant wrote here.
This is why when you die, you need to be remembered for a long time. Doing something that will make people think about you until time ends. Unless you do something that will make people remember you, like people remember King Henry or Cleopatra or even Hitler. If you want to be remembered forever, how would you want to be remembered? As a smart and heroic person, or someone who massacred people and scars other people's brain of your life?
At that point, the other juvenile replied, smart and heroic, probably. And then, how about you?
Then the defendant replied back, not for me to say.
Okay, so this was in March 17, 2021. And this theme of wanting to be remembered, is that repeated throughout the defendant's journal?
Yes, sir.
Moving on to page 19, can you please tell us what the defendant wrote?
This kid ever broken? Like, holy.
Killing myself is too much of a pussy move. People will just forget about me and I will have never making an impact in this world. The only way is to shoot up the school.
Further on down page 19, can you please read what the defendant wrote? Start with I'm going.
I'm going to rain fucking fire down on this school. I will cause the biggest school shooting in Michigan's history. I will kill everyone I fucking see.
And finally, page 19, bottom.
I want to be remembered through all of history.
Flip please to page 18 of the defendant's journal. This is the top portion of page 18 of the defendant right. Could you please read that passage?
I just saw a group of girls sitting down in the hallway. If I had my pistol on me, then I would have not hesitated to blow both of their brains out. I would just hope their parents will feel with sadness and distraught. When I shoot up the school, I hope that every parent of kids I gratefully murder will be so sad that they kill themselves. I want all of America to see the darkness in me. I want to impact the world with this. I'm going to record the shooting so when they show the video in court, everyone can see their children and friends dying. I want for the parents to see their kids burn to ash and bawl their eyes out. I'm going to spend the rest of my life in prison, rotting like a tomato.
Sir, that page doesn't end there, is that right?
That's correct.
And in fact, there's a drawing right underneath that.
Yes, sir.
Tell us please what we're looking at.
It's a drawing of a hand extended, firing a round into the back of presumably a young female.
And what does the defendant write about that?
The first victim has to be a pretty girl with a future so she can suffer just like me.
Lieutenant, who was the first person shot?
Phoebe Arthur. Excuse me. Phoebe Arthur.
And do you know where she was shot?
In the face.
I'll move now to page 17. There's a part here that's redacted.
What an angry, angry kid. Oh my God. Is he born broken? Or do you think something tragic happened to him to turn him into this kind of messed up, frickin' air-sucking piece of shite?
And redacted the name of a different school shooter. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Can you please read the remainder of that passage?
He is my idol. I want to do what he did. I want America to hear what I did. I know that rarely only shootings have happened in Michigan, so that means I will cause the largest school shooting ever in the state. I'm not going to kill myself. I will surrender to the police. I wish to hear the screams of the children as I shoot them. All I need is my 9mm pistol, which I'm currently begging my dad for.
Lieutenant, the defendant actually eventually obtained a 9mm pistol.
Yes, sir.
May I approach the witness, Judge?
Yes.
I'm going to hand you, it's already been admitted, as well as evidence.
For the record, is that People's 19?
That is just, thank you.
Thank you.
Nothing out of Ethan. He just sits there.
Sir, what is Exhibit 19?
It's a 9mm semi-automatic pistol.
Now, is that actually the murder weapon from November the 30th, 2021?
It is. It was the weapon used and a weapon recovered that day.
When was that gun purchased?
The Friday just prior to the shooting.
So that would have been November the 26th, 2021?
Yes, sir.
And that was purchased from a firearms store in Oxford.
Correct.
Who was the registered purchaser of that firearm?
James Crumbley.
That's the defendant's father.
It is.
Were you aware that the defendant was with James Crumbley when that gun was purchased?
We came to know that, yes.
Now, sir, you were here when the defendant pled guilty on October the 24th of 2022. Is that right?
Yes.
So you heard his statements in court.
Yes.
And is it true that the defendant stated that he actually gave his father money for that gun?
Correct.
And he actually picked out that gun.
Yes.
Oh,
Did you uncover evidence that this defendant posted pictures about that firearm on social media after it was obtained for him?
Yes. Those were recovered off his phone.
Okay. Now I'm going to show you what's already been admitted as 20. This is a post from the defendant's Instagram account. Can you please tell us what the caption is on the photograph the defendant posted?
Just got my new beauty today. Heart eye emoji. Sig Sauer 9mm. Ask any questions, I will answer.
And that was taken November the 26th, 2021. Is that correct?
Yes.
And this is another post.
like, look at that weapon. What the hell? I mean, nobody needs something like that. That would be the flippin' day I was buying my 15-year-old something along those lines.
That the defendant posted to his Instagram account on November the 26th, 2021. Is it the same caption?
It is.
Again, is this the same weapon that we've identified as the murder weapon, Exhibit 20?
Yes, sir.
Now, this is another Instagram post. The defendant posted that picture November 26, 2021. And same caption on this photograph.
Yes.
What do you know about this particular picture?
He has some, it appears to be some knowledge of how to handle firearms. His finger, which is very important when handling firearms, is outside the trigger guard. He is lining up the sights.
Do you know one thing, just watching this trial, this Jennifer Crumbley trial, that I find really, really disturbing is that people can go even his age and use these weapons. They'll even provide them at shooting ranges for a 15-year-old. I don't understand that kind of logic.
You're trained with those kind of sights specifically to line them up 3 in a row. If you think of them like 3, equal light on equal sides, equal amount of lights on equal sides.
Okay. So that's the correct way to aim that firearm. Am I right?
Yes.
All right. And finally, Instagram post that the defendant posted on November. This is November the 27th, the next day, 2021. What was the caption on this picture?
Took my new SIG out to the range today. Definitely need to get used to the new sights. LOL.
Now, in the extraction, this forensic extraction of the defendant's parent cell phones, we find evidence that the defendant's mother posted about going to the shooting range with the defendant as well.
Yes, we did.
All right. Now, this is from Jennifer Crumbley's Instagram, and this was posted November the 27th, 2021. What did the defendant's mother post?
Mom and Sunday testing out his new Xmas present. My first time shooting a 9mm. I hit the bullseye.
And this is another picture of a target.
Yes, sir.
Same caption referencing his new Xmas present.
Correct.
Again, November 27th, 2021.
Yes, sir.
Finally, on her Instagram, what is this?
That is the this pistol along with those magazines. A picture of him.
And what's the caption here?
Mom and Sunday testing out his new Xmas present. My first time shooting a 9mm. I hit the bullseye.
Now, in a review of Jennifer Crumbley's Instagram stories, was there a short clip of the defendant training with a firearm?
Yes, sir, there was.
And in fact, throughout this investigation, there's evidence uncovered of the defendant training with different firearms.
Yes, there was.
Now, this picture right here that Jennifer Crumbley posted, this was just 3 days before the shooting. Is that right?
Yes, that's correct.
First, I'm going to show you a clip from Jennifer Crumbley's Instagram story. This is from June the 22nd, 2021. What's the post that Jennifer Crumbley wrote?
Ethan and James R. Crumbley both got handguns this week, testing them out at the range.
Now, you mentioned that evidence was uncovered that they were both training with firearms.
Yes.
I'm going to show you what's already been admitted as exhibits. As soon as this unfreezes, Lieutenant. I'm going to show you a video from November the 26th, 2021. This is what the defendant posted. Is this correct?
Yes.
I believe we have the television, the court's television is frozen. Just give me one moment.
No reaction from this kid. This is what he wanted to do. Unreal. He was just waiting to get his hands on that type of weapon. Yeah. It's absolutely disgusting.
This was posted November the 26th, 2021. And the defendant
Like the
actually
kid
posted
doesn't
this.
care.
Before I play the clip, what are we looking at here?
I can't make that out.
Okay. Well, I'll let it play, then you can tell us.
All right. We're looking down the barrel of the gun, the weapon used in the
shooting,
in the murder. Yes.
Now, I'm going to show you a video from November 27, 2021 of the defendant and his mother, Jennifer Crumbley, at a shooting range. For the record, which exhibit number is this? That is exhibit 24. What we just saw was exhibit 23. Thank you. So we see the defendant with a gray sweatshirt,
Yes.
and that's his mother walking next to him.
Yes, sir.
And the defendant has a target, paper target in his hand. Is that right?
Yes, sir. He does.
Okay. And next to him, has that been identified as the murder weapon that was bought the day prior?
Yes, correct.
Tell us what he's doing, please.
He's inserting the magazine into the, which is also known as the clip, into the pistol and chambering around, basically loading the gun.
He doesn't have any help with him there. Is that right?
That's correct.
As you watch the defendant shoot this firearm on November the 27th, 2021, tell me what comes to mind.
The most interesting thing to me is that obviously this is the first time he just bought this gun, so presumably this is either one of the first times, if not the first time, that he shoots this gun. He understands the basic concepts of shooting: two-hand grip, arms extended, bringing the sights up to your line of sight.
And you already mentioned the photograph of him lining up those three sights.
Yes, sir.
defendant retracts his target.
Yeah, so the last round, obviously, after it's empty, the slide locks to the rear. He removed the magazine and retracted the target.
So what are we seeing right now?
Now he is assisting his mother with her turn at shooting the weapon.
Now, when you say assisting, is Jennifer Crumbley showing him how to use it, or is the defendant showing Jennifer Crumbley how to use it?
Yeah, it's clear. I mean, it's evident by the video that he is teaching her what to do.
So he depicts the defendant actually pointing out different aspects of the gun.
Yeah, if you remember, he loaded the gun, racked the slide, did everything.
It's totally terrifying that a kid this age knows how to handle a weapon like this. I mean, and his stance, everything. This kid knew exactly what he was doing.
And he's kind of walking her through the steps now. That's called a slide release, what she just hit that moves the gun forward. And now she appears she doesn't know how to properly grip the pistol.
So comparing shooting stances, who is the more experienced looking shooting stance?
Yeah, experience and more confident looking shooting stances, Ethan, for sure. Pardon me, the defendant.
At this point in the video, the defendant's mother actually calls the defendant over to retrieve the magazine.
Yes. So she sets the gun down when she's done, whereas the defendant, properly unloaded it, left it down.
There's multiple times throughout the surveillance video that shows the defendant's mother asking the defendant for help.
Yeah. See, here's she's still unsure about how to grip the firearm. She's putting her thumb around her wrist and he's showing her, no, your thumbs forward. 2 hands on the gun, thumbs forward.
And I'm going to move on now to what's been admitted as Exhibit 25. Speaking of videos that depict the defendant training with firearms, in the investigation, the video was uncovered from a different shooting range in September of 2021 when he was at the range with his father. Is that correct?
Yes.
This is September the 25th, 2021?
Yes.
Okay, so who are we looking at on the video right now as I turn it on?
That is the defendant in the black hat, gray sweatshirt, and his father, James Crumbley, in the white sweatshirt.
So it appears they're moving from different counters looking at the items.
Yes.
Shooting range, are you able to rent firearms to shoot as well as occasionally purchase firearms?
Yes, you can.
So at this point, they have a basket and they're moving into the range. Is that correct?
Yes.
Now, earlier you mentioned the Kel-Tec pistol.
Yes, sir.
It's true that James Crumbley purchased that Kel-Tec pistol in June of 2021?
June, yes, sir.
Okay. So there appears to be a pistol in James Crumbley's hip. So this is before the 9mm used in the murder was purchased, right?
Correct.
Okay, so we presume that James Crumbley brought his .22 caliber Kel-Tec semi-automatic pistol to shoot.
Yes.
It appears there's a second firearm on the table of the shooting lane. Would that be a firearm that they rented?
I believe, yes.
Okay. And again, who's stepping up first, the shooting lane?
The defendant.
Nobody's showing him how to use that firearm, is that right?
Correct.
This is admitted as an exhibit, so in the interest of time, I'll pause it right here. But again, when reviewing the defendant's shooting stance, does he appear to be confident and experienced?
Yes, he does.
It's just brutal. Absolutely
Right here,
brutal.
the journal. Page 16 of the defendant's journal. Details of the defendant wrote.
I plan on dumping Jeffrey's head in a bathroom to hope the stench will reek. I hope that people will talk about it for the rest of the day because I want the attention. However, I do not want to be caught, as that will make me getting the 9mm impossible.
Okay. I have to ask you the next few questions as you're thinking about the entire context of the journal, the text messages, and the entire investigation. So the defendant wrote, I plan on dumping Jeffrey's head in a bathroom. Did you uncover, and the investigators uncover,
What a sick little shite. How do you end up this ill unless there's something really, really bad going on with his own stuff?
he was talking about?
Yes, there was an incident where a bird head in a jar of fluid was left by the defendant in the same bathroom that he exited the day of the shooting. But it was prior to the shooting.
Okay, so if I'm correct in understanding, and this was November the 11th, 2021?
Yeah, it's yes, November 11th. Correct, sir.
From the context of this passage where he says it would make me getting the 9mm impossible.
A lot of us had not seen this. I, for one, had not. So, a person with what just happened in court today just wants a little extra perspective on how this could have possibly happened. So, yeah, this was suggested to me by Dandy, and just a great idea because it's putting a little bit more of a perspective onto what the actual hell was going on with this kid and this family.
Obviously, this is before November the 26th.
Yes.
And then you did come to learn that someone at Oxford High School did uncover a decapitated bird head contained in a jar of fluid from the men's bathroom.
Yes.
The defendant is writing about how he actually did that and what he's talking about.
Yes.
And this theme is continued on throughout the journal and the text message. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay, we'll get into more detail a little bit. So, later on, when we get into May of 2021, we'll be discussing the torture, mutilation, and killing of baby birds. But this is a different bird, am I correct?
Yes.
Okay, so I understand he named the bird's head Jeffrey.
Correct. Okay. That bird head looked. I don't know birds all that well, but it looked more advanced in age, more like an adult bird than a.
Certainly different than the picture of the bird subsequently tortured.
Yeah, the hatchling. Yeah.
Page 15 of the defendant's journal. This is how the court what the defendant wrote.
So during the passing time of 3rd to 4th hour, I went into the bathroom and I wanted to dump the bird head on the ground and keep the jar, but there were people waiting, so I put the whole jar on top of the toilet paper dispenser.
In fact, that's where that jar was found.
Yes.
Further on down page 15.
So now I'm pissed because I want to do the shooting with a 9mm pistol, as they are effective for killing. But right now, all I got is a puny 22 LR Keltec that I don't know where my dad hit it.
And underneath that passage, what do we see?
The defendant draws 2 separate rounds or bullets. On the left, a 22 LR long rifle. It says kill range 25 meters max, and then a 9mm Parabellum, kill range 100 meters.
Now, Lieutenant, the police officer for 27 years, you're obviously familiar with firearms and ammunition.
Yes, sir.
If you could please tell the court, what's the difference between 22 millimeter, like 22 caliber, and a 9mm?
Well, the most glaring difference is the size of it. The 9mm caliber is a much larger round. It has more, it has more impact. It does more damage.
Which round, comparatively speaking, the 22 to 9mm, is more likely to penetrate a classroom door?
The 9mm. The 22, I'm not a gun expert, but 22s are designed for target practice with paper and or very small game hunting, where the 9mm is essentially a combat round.
So, police officers, soldiers, if they're sidearmed, they commonly carry a 9mm handgun?
Correct.
Okay. They wouldn't carry a 22 into combat.
Absolutely.
So that's what I hear, Shauna, is they have really whittled down. I think they were at 27 last time I looked as far as potential jurors. So they are expecting at some point tomorrow to have opening statements. And I do believe that they do have a pool provided, so we should be able to watch that. And then what I'll do with going through the Miller hearing on Ethan Crumbley, I will do them whenever I've got a chance. I'll do some on the weekend, just wherever I can fit them in, just to learn as much as we can about the mind of this twisted kid. And you see, I don't know much about guns or any of this stuff.
Absolutely not.
Now, in the course of this investigation, you and the detectives uncovered internet search history of the defendant on his phone. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And did you find evidence of the defendant researching different weapons and ammunition on his phone?
We did.
We'll start with November the 29th, 2021, 2:07 p.m. What was the defendant's Google search?
His Google search was type of 22 bullets.
And Your Honor, for the record, when we have item 1, item 12, that signifies the search, particular search in the exhibit for the court.
Thank you. So noted.
Thank you. Now, item 12, on November the 26th, what did the defendant search?
Sig Sauer P365.
Okay. And that's 4 days before the shooting?
Yep. Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, item 23, on November the 24th, what did the defendant write?
The 24th, he wrote 9mm types comparison. He searched that in Google.
Now, everything that we have here in quotes that's bolded on the side, those are the defendant's actual words that he typed into Google on his phone.
Yes.
Now, we have a few different items redacted for privacy purposes. Can you tell us what the defendant searched on November 23rd, 2021, which is 1 week before the shooting?
Used firearms, redacted firearms and range.
And what about the next search, item 34?
He typed in used guns, redacted shooting goods.
Now, November the 10th, 2021, 20 days before the shooting, what did the defendant search?
What is a Molotov cocktail?
Now, moving on to item 62, November the 9th, 2021, which is 21 days before the shooting, what did the defendant write?
How deadly is a 9mm pistol?
October the 4th, 2021, item 99, what did the defendant write?
How many yards away is a 22 effective?
Okay. When you see in type or text the decimal point and the numbers 22, that signifies a 22 caliber.
Yes, sir.
Now, in the text message thread, did you find evidence of the defendant's desire to own, possess, and use firearms?
Yes, sir.
All right. I'm going to direct you to June the 14th, 2021, 5:34 p.m. to 5:47 p.m. Can you please read to us what the defendant wrote?
Yes. We went to the store. That place is fucking cool. They close soon, so my dad will go up there and do it tomorrow. My dad even said I could get a revolver if I wanted to, like a snub nose one. Yeah, it's just more money. No, I'm not getting both.
That's in reference to a Derringer and a revolver?
Yes. Also for 100 rounds of 22 LR, it's only $15.
Sir, what's LR signify?
Long rifle. And it's only $40 for 50 rounds of 9mm. Every type of ammo there is stupid expensive, expect for the 22. My dad said I can get a gun like this if I want to.
And then he sent a YouTube link?
Yes.
Correct.
The only thing, though, is that I don't really want to spend $300, but it's worth it, I think.
Okay, Lieutenant, I think it's worth noting that we have quotations, and those are the actual words the defendant texted. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. Now, June the 15th, 2021, 9:58 p.m. to 10 p.m., what did the defendant text?
Also, I went to the gun store today and got the Derringer, but it was on a delay, so I won't be able to actually have it until a couple more days. I paid for it, just don't have it yet. I'm so hyped. My dad is also most likely going to get a gun. It's a handgun, 15 rounds, so I will have 2 guns to shoot. I don't know the type, but it's cool looking handgun. It's a magazine.
Okay. May I approach the witness, Judge? Yes. This is Exhibit 27. I'll hand you this first.
Yeah, that's what it's looking like.
Sorry.
Whoa. What the hell?
Now, Exhibit 27, right here. Can you please tell me what I've handed you?
Is the Derringer pistol reference in the messages.
Tell us, please, what is that?
So a Derringer is a small firearm, a 22 caliber weapon. This actually has is 2 shots. So after 2 shots, you have to eject the cartridges and reload.
Okay, so the capacity of that is only 2 rounds at a time, and then he would have to reload.
Yes,
And the bullet themselves would be very small.
correct.
Okay. And that was purchased in June. Of
Only if you're a
2000,
dickwad.
correct? Okay, and is that
Otherwise,
what
you're
that's
good to
referring
go.
In this text message that we identified as Exhibit 18.
Yes, it is.
Okay. Now, looking at 28 here. Tell us, please, what is Exhibit 28?
This is the Kel-Tec 22 automatic.
Okay, and that was purchased by James Crumbley in June of 2021.
Yes,
Okay, now that's a semi-automatic handgun.
it is.
Hey there, JJ.
Same sort of power as a 9mm. That'd be right.
That's correct.
And that's because of the type of caliber bullet.
Yes, sir.
Now, I'm going to show you 2 more text messages and then 2 videos.
Okay.
So moving on to June the 29th of 2021, 2:42 a.m. What did the defendant text?
Thing is, I had like over $1,000 before the Derringer, but now I only have like $800.
What about July the 29th, 2029?
He says, I want to get the Glock now. The only thing is they're like $500 and 9mm is expensive AF as fuck. Shotguns are cool. Yeah, but
Referring to Glocks.
Yeah, but Glocks are lightweight and shoot fast. It's like my type of gun for safety and not to shoot at the range. Kel-Tecs are really fun to shoot. When I shoot my dad's last time, I barely got any kickback.
From the context of these text messages, it's apparent that the defendant is actually paying for those firearms.
Yes.
Now, moving to August the 10th, 2021. Can you please read what the defendant wrote?
I got my Derringer back and some more ammo.
What about August the 19th, 2021?
He
So, The
posted.
defendant sent a video to
Yes.
his friend?
Yes,
Okay.
he did.
And then what did the defendant write?
Shoot that Sunday.
And then August the 20th, this is just after midnight, another video was sent.
Correct.
And what did the defendant write?
My dad left it out, so I thought, why not? LOL. Just kidding. Not just kidding. I know gun safety, so it's no problem. Now it's time to shoot up the school. Devil emoji, and then a series of JKs, which reference just kidding.
I'm going to show you those videos I referenced.
Welcome, welcome.
Just bear with me. I believe I'll unplug this. Plug it back in. Sure. Now, this is Exhibit 29. This was sent in that text message conversation, June the 16th, 2021.
Yes, sir.
This appears to be the defendant's hand with the Derringer in his hand.
Yes.
What's he doing with it?
He's dry firing it, meaning there's no rounds in it. He's just cocking the weapon and pulling the trigger.
I'll show you now Exhibit 30. This is from August the 20th, 2021.
That was a video of the Kel-Tec. He slammed it down to insert the magazine and then hit the slide release to move the round forward, or to move the slide forward.
Okay. When we say the Kel-Tec, we're talking about what's been emitted here?
Yes.
Exhibit 28?
Yes.
Okay, Lieutenant, now I want to direct your attention to page 14 of the defendant's journal.
Welcome back, Maxie.
Okay.
You're able to read the passage?
So I am very optimistic. Every night, I'm not sure, awake. Every passing minute, I think about how many potential people will die.
I think about how I'm getting closer to prison and how many potential people will die. Is that correct?
I'm sorry, I got to. So I'm very optimistic. Every night, I'm not sure, awake. Every passing minute, I think about how I am getting closer to prison and how many potential people will die.
Okay, now further down the page, what did it kind of write?
The security guard, so no one knows that, put the bird head in the bathroom. It just amuses me how I can cause people to talk about what I did, and it makes me happy. Once I do the shooting, it will go down as one of the biggest school shooting in American and Michigan.
Now, the defendant writing about spending his life in prison, going to prison, is this a theme that you found throughout the journal?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
This kid's just a mess.
When reviewing the defendant's internet search history, was that theme prevalent there as well?
Yes, it was, sir.
I will direct you to a few different internet searches found in the defendant's browser history. November 29, 2021. This is 8:45 p.m., which is the night before the shooting. And it's item 5. Can you please read what the defendant wrote?
He Google searched, what is the worst prison sentence you can get in Michigan?
What about item 9?
He wrote, what is a life sentence for a 15-year-old?
That's what he actually searched on his phone in Google.
Yes, that's what he entered, correct.
And this was 1 week before the shooting.
Yes.
What about item 11?
What is the sentence for a life to fit for a 15 to life?
Thank Yeah, that's 1 week before the shooting.
Yes.
Moving on to item 12, again, 1 week before the shooting, what did the defendant search?
He searched, what is the legal age to be sent to prison?
What about item 13, also 1 week before the shooting?
Michigan Youth Correctional Facility.
Okay, and there actually is, in the state of Michigan Department of Corrections, there's one facility that houses youthful offenders. Is that correct?
Yes.
Item 15, again, 1 week before the shooting, what did the defendant search?
What prisons are there in Michigan?
Moving on to item 16,
Has anyone ever been executed in Michigan?
he searched that 1 week before the shooting.
Yes, he did.
Item 17,
What states have the death penalty?
again, a week before the shooting. And
Yep.
what about
Yes,
item
sir.
19? It's redacted, and what part is redacted here?
The name of another school shooter.
A different convicted school shooter from another state?
Yes, sir.
Okay, what did he search regarding that individual?
Is redacted, sentenced to death.
Now, what about item 22 that he searched 1 week before the shooting?
He searched, what is the maximum death penalty?
And November the 6th, 2021, this is 24 days before the shooting. What did the defendant search?
Is Michigan a death penalty state?
I'm going to refer you back to the journal, page 11. Tell me when you're ready to read that passage.
This was one broken kid, let me tell you. Yeah, well, don't do Google searches if you plan on doing a crime. Like, yeah. Oh my God, the stuff that this kid was looking at. And then on top of that, he was not being very nice to little animals. Just brutal.
I started making a plan. It was a plan to kidnap, rape, and kill her. I talked to find out where she lives and found out she lives a 5-minute walk away from me. I made this plan to break in the BR bedroom at night and kidnap her with an industrial-sized garbage bag. I would then take her to my basement where I would torture and rape until I slit her throat alive. I was so close to executing the plan, but fortunately, my friend, redacted, stopped me very calmly.
Okay. Now, this plan that he referenced, that was regarding another student, Oxford High School.
Yes, it was.
And did this come through in his text messages to that other juvenile as well? Okay, I'm going to show you
Yes.
some of those text messages. This is May the 12th, 2021, 11:23 p.m. And this is in reference to that same individual that you wrote about in the journal.
Yes, sir.
Tell us, please, what the defendant wrote.
Kidnap her, then tie her up, then rape her, then torture her, then kill her, then dissect her, then take her eyeballs, then bury the body.
Okay. May the 20th, 2021, he was still writing about this.
Yeah, he quotes, I'm not going to get caught, man. I'm going to bring my gun just in case. Full air and pellets. Basically deadly. But I have full plan on how to kidnap her. It's just super risky.
Now, you uncovered evidence in this text message thread of the defendant's desire and discussion of committing violent acts towards other individuals as well.
Yes.
Okay. Specifically towards children in this portion of the text conversation. This is March the 16th, 2021. Please tell us what the defendant wrote regarding drowning children.
Just looking them in their eyes as they look back at you while they know that their entire life is about to end so young. The best feeling. But stick your fingers into their eye sockets and push down so they scream in pain and drown their lungs with water. Just thinking about the torturing and the screaming and the way their and the way their legs flail in the air as they cry, it fills the void.
This theme about violence towards children. This continues, is that right?
Yes.
This is again March the 16th, 2021. Can you please start with the first text message that he wrote?
Whenever I see a little kid about a year old or a little more, I want to pick them up and run off with them and then torture them before throwing them off a cliff.
What about April the 25th, 2021?
I will kill any innocent. I don't care who I kill. I will kill who I feel like killing. Age, gender, I don't care.
May 13th, 2021.
I don't care about innocent. Killing the innocent is the same as killing the bad. It's both satisfies.
I'm going to direct you now to a text from February 21st, 2021. Of course, this was months before the shooting. This is in the midst of a discussion about wanting to stalk and kill people. What did the defendant write about that?
Scary thing is, I like being this fucked up. I don't know if you do. Some people don't, but I like it. I like being like this, which is fucked up. And then he responds to us, same. I love the darkness. It feels good. Knowing that you're different from society and not some mindless human like all the others. We have the ability to stuff that other people think is wrong, and we can tell ourselves that it's okay. But I want to do bad. It satisfies me.
Again, that was written in February
Okay.
2021.
Thank you.
Lieutenant, I want to direct you back to the defendant's journal, this time at page 8. Starting with
Last
Can you please read that?
Last night, I made a plan on my phone of what I'm going to do. It's printed out in 5th hour. Never mind, the colored printer in my hour is out of paper. So I'll just have to plan. I will just have to have the plan on my phone.
And Lieutenant, from the context of the rest of the journal, it's apparent this passage is referring to the school shooting on November the 30th?
Yes.
Okay. So was evidence found on the defendant's phone that he downloaded a map of Oxford High School?
Yes, sir, there was.
And then was evidence uncovered that with that map, he actually modified it and marked that map up on his phone?
Yes.
Okay, I'm going to direct you to the screen here. And this picture, this was found on the defendant's phone. Is that right?
That's correct.
Okay. And so we have certain portions here with different colors.
Yep.
We have
Yes.
blue markings on the exterior of the school. We have a purple circle. We have black lines. Can you tell us, first of all, what do these blue lines signify?
So, you know what? I've absolutely heard of that before, that some of those meds can totally do some bad things to your thoughts. You're not the first person that has said that. And that's terrifying. Absolutely terrifying.
Those denote the exits at the school.
Okay. Now, this was actually found as modified on the defendant's phone, meaning that he's the one who actually put those drawings on there.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And what about this purple circle here? Does that signify anything?
It denotes the area where the murders began.
Okay. And again, he put the severed bird head that he called Jeffrey. He put that bird head in this bathroom right here, adjacent to room 258.
Yes.
Okay. And that's the same bathroom that he exited before he began the shooting.
Yes, sir.
And that's contained within that purple circle there.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, sir, the evidence showed that this download and this modification occurred November the 10th, 2021. Is that right?
That's correct.
Okay. Now, I want to direct you to the defendant's internet search history at that time. So specifically, the first text here, November 10th, 2021, he entered into Google Oxford High School layout. Is that right?
That's correct.
Okay, and that's November 10th at 11:10 p.m.
Yes.
Okay. And then based upon the cell phone forensic data, we know that he uncovered a clean copy of this map, but then modified that some minutes later.
Yes.
Okay. Now, I want to talk about the searches he conducted directly preceding that. So when he downloaded the Oxford High School map, that was item 19. The search directly before that was item 20 on November the 10th, 2021. And what did he search there?
What is the average response time for a shooting?
And directly before that, what did he search?
How many police do schools have in Michigan?
And directly before that, what did he search?
Do school resource officers carry guns?
And then finally, right before that, what did he search?
What is a school resource officer?
Okay. So the order of events is that he started with what is a school resource officer, and then he continued until he obtained and modified this map. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay. That was a full 20 days before the shooting.
Yes, sir.
I'm going to move to page 11 of the journal now. Okay, if you could read that passage, please.
I killed 8 infant baby birds by slowly torturing them until death. If I would have never thought of the brilliant idea of shooting up the school, then I probably would have become a serial killer. And I don't know which one's worse, LOL.
That's page 11. I want to direct you to page 6. And this theme of the birds continues. Is that correct?
Yeah. Yes, sir.
Go ahead.
Last time I had my mental breakdown, my parents were out of town. I murdered an entire family of 5 newborn baby birds. I drowned them and burned them alive while we all screamed. I cut one in half and stuck the head of its brother in its stomach. I have completely lost my shit. My grades are falling. My parents hate each other. We have no money. I have zero help for my mental problems, and it's causing me to shoot up the fucking school.
He talked about in that journal torturing and killing baby birds. Was evidence uncovered that he actually did that?
Yes, there was 2 videos found on his phone of where he was torturing baby birds.
And then was there also a discussion in that same text message conversation about that?
Yes.
I'm going to direct you to a text message from April the 17th, 2021. Can you please tell us what the defendant wrote?
I want to take the axe and chip a baby bird, chip a bird in half.
Okay. April the 25th, 2021. What did you write?
Shoot it, torture it, dissect it. I want to chop it in half with an axe.
And that leads to a discussion with that other individual about catching and killing a fish.
Yes.
What did the defendant write then?
I want to kill it while it's alive so it can feel the pain.
Now, May the 1st, 2021. What did the defendant write?
Also, there is a baby bird's nest right next to my house with 5 baby birds in it. I can also reach them. 3 double emojis. Tomorrow, I'm making my move. I will get video and pics. I can't wait till tomorrow. There is 5 and they're going to die anyways. I want to take something heavy and break its beak. I can't wait, dude. I'm so fucked up. I'm going to break its beak, then chop its head off. I'm going to take so many vids and pics.
The next day, May the 2nd, 2021, this conversation continued.
Yes.
Go ahead.
I want to hear it scream. The first bid, though, I want to torture it. And it's so young, too. Like it's just born and already going to be killed. It's like 2 days old. I'm going to snap the beak off and then chop its head off. Then take out its heart. Then chop it into pieces. And also take out the brain. Then smash it into little bits. I'm so fucked up, I like it. Jeffrey Dahmer got the good idea. Only thing he did wrong was get caught.
What a
May the 2nd, 2021,
twisted little
3:30
shit.
in the afternoon. What did the defendant write?
I want to kill another bird so badly. Or baby bird. I can reach into the nest. They're not safe.
The next day, May the 3rd, 2021, what did the defendant text?
During third hour, all I thought about was ways to torture the bird. I'm going to film this like a documentary. My dad is pulling out of the driveway right now. I'm going to wait a couple minutes, though, just in case he comes back.
Okay. You said there were 2 videos uncovered in the defendant's phone,
Yes.
and then the defendant texted about what he did afterwards.
Yes, sir.
May the 3rd, 2021,
I just,
Very graphic, but go ahead.
I'm sorry. I just finished. The vid is too long, so I can't send, but I can send pics right before I throw it out. Pictures were
And
sent.
then you sent pictures of that individual?
Yes, sir.
Okay, please continue.
I cannot wait to show you the vid. It's so fucking disturbing. And as I don't even remember saying half the stuff. Like I talked to the bird like a little child while torturing it. I can't wait to show you, dude.
This
It
kid
was
is
so
messed
fucking fun,
right
dude.
up.
This is the,
Thing is,
oh, I'm sorry. Thing is, the vid ends halfway through, so you don't see the good stuff. I put a drill in its stomach and skull. I also shot the gun at it a couple times in the stomach and in its head. I also chopped it in half with the axe. I also smashed its head with the hammer at the end of it, and at the end, and its eye bulged out, just like Glenn's.
what's Glenn in reference to?
The TV show The Walking Dead.
Okay, Karen show?
Yes.
Okay, continue, please.
Like the eyelids came apart and I could see the bird's eye. There are still 3 birds left. I was originally going to try and stick a toothpick up its ass, but I couldn't find any. God, I can't wait to show you the vid. It's 8 minutes long. Like I couldn't stop laughing my ass
Yeah,
off
it's a
when I
bit
rewatched
much,
the vid.
hey James? Like this,
Lieutenant, you've
yeah.
reviewed the evidence on the defendant's phone. You've reviewed these 2 videos he references.
Yes.
For the record, Judge, for the court's in-camera review, pursuant to the court's order, those are exhibits 37 to 38.
Thank you, so noted.
I'm not going to show you any images from the torturing, but I'm going to show one still shot of what the bird looked like prior to the defendant committing these acts. Now,
Or a really, really
understand what we're going to
sick
see.
brain.
This isn't a full-grown bird, am I right?
That's correct.
Tell me how old it. Obviously, you're not a scientist. You didn't study birds, but can you give us an idea of the age of the bird that the defendant tortured?
Yes, I mean you'll see it's pretty apparent it's a hatchling or recently born baby bird.
Okay, and for the record,
Brutal.
this is torturing, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, so this is exhibit 36, and it's still shot from the video that the defendant took, and this is right before he began what he described.
Yes.
No.
No.
But we do need you to tell us what's in it. Can you please tell us what you saw?
The video has the defendant in a shed, and he takes the bird with a pair of kitchen tongs, removes the bird and puts it on a workbench, and then like he referenced in his message, talks to it like a little child, calls it, "Hey, little buddy," and things of that nature.
With that sort of inflection in his voice?
Yes. He uses initially he grabs a small butane lighter, torch lighter, and lights it on or burns it twice to watch it squirm, and you can hear the bird squeal, the baby bird squeal.
Fudge.
He
Yeah,
then takes
this is
a
bad.
knife and tries to saw off one of the legs. He breaks the leg, but he doesn't saw all the way through it. He then grabs a flathead screwdriver and tries to take off one of the wings with it. He jams it in and tries to wiggle the screwdriver so the wing comes off. Periodically, he would pick the bird up and place it in the water, replace it in the water to see if it would drown or move or what it would do. The bird would lay motionless for a while, and once it would start
Have a good
moving
night,
again, he would
Lexi.
move on to the next area of torture. One of the last things he did was took a drywall screw, about a 3-inch drywall screw, and impaled it. Obviously the little bird has a big belly, and he states he wanted to see what was on the inside of it, so he impales it, continues to hammer until it's all the way through the bird, picks the bird up with it, twists the screw, flicks the bird off.
This video is about 8 minutes long.
Yes.
This kid, wow.
You can hear the bird audibly chirping for a portion of the video, is that right?
Yes. It appears the bird is alive. Basically the entirety of the video, all 8 minutes.
And the video did cut off about 8 minutes, then you took the second video,
Yes.
and that was much shorter.
Yes.
What did you do in that?
This video, the head was already separated from the bird, and he took a ratchet and smashed the head and beak.
We talked a little bit about how the bird appeared to be alive. The defendant was speaking to it at that point, right? In
Yes.
fact, he was saying things like, "You're alive. Let's go, champ. You're still alive. You're doing it, right?"
Yes.
Yeah, but they weren't
How does that
alive.
how does that broken leg feel?
I mean, yeah, we looked at frogs and stuff, but they were already smelly and formaldehyde
Squeeze that
filled.
between his fingers too. didn't you?
Yes, he did.
This kid's just sick.
You've been
Like,
an officer for a very
sick.
long time. You ever seen anything like this?
Never. It's obviously the torture's disturbing enough. The commentary.
Thanks for coming
throughout,
in,
the
Richie
inflection,
kid.
Knowing the prior passages and the enjoyment this brings the defendant is.
Yeah, pickled already.
Put into words.
Thank you, Lieutenant. I'm sorry that you have to watch that. You got to describe that. Want to move
Like, this
to
kid's just
additional
bent.
text messages with the defendant discussing general torture, killing of animals and people. Can you read what the defendant wrote on May the 3rd, 2021?
Yes. Also, most serial killers get their damage from their family or accidents, but I have no trauma from my past. I was just born this way.
And then May 13th, 2021, the defendant's still talking about the bird, correct?
Yes. This is what I meant the other day of how I need a recharge to kill again. Now, tomorrow, I really want a bird, but I want it to be alive when I chop its head off.
That was May 13th, 2021.
Yes.
That was 10 days after he filmed himself torturing the one we just referred to. Is that right?
Correct.
Okay. Now, the following week, May 21st, what is the defendant text?
God, I want to kill right now. I hit a bird yesterday 2 times, but it flew away.
And this continues even long after that video was taken.
Yes, sir.
June the 30th, 2021, what did the defendant text?
There have been no baby birds to torture in for a long time, and I'm getting that feeling where I need to kill again.
Again, June 30th, 2021 at 12:30 a.m., what did the defendant text?
I like killing the big birds, but I like the killing of the baby birds more. Mostly because they're so young and they had a whole life ahead of them, but then I took it away. That is what I like. And also they're helpless and they scream when you hurt them.
This kid.
This is nearly 2 months after the video that they've been torturing the bird. And
Yes.
this theme talking about the innocents, babies, this continues throughout this.
Yeah, this kid is like a holy hell mess. I don't know how you're that twisted and it's not noticed. I don't know. Thank God I've never run into a kid this messed up. Rude.
Phone continues throughout his journal.
Yes.
I'm going to direct down to page 6 of the defendant's journal. Can you read us? We're going to go page 6 and then page 3. Can you read us what the defendant wrote? Page
Yes.
6.
Fucking N-word bitch. If I kill myself, then people will not care about me and I will be forgotten within half a lifetime. That's why I'm going to cause the biggest school shooting of this decade and the only real one in Michigan.
Now, further on page 6, what did the defendant write?
Not sure if I'm going to kill myself during the shooting, but I also want to react on how the world reacts on my shooting. I'm probably going to live the rest of my life in prison. I hope I can talk to someone, though, so I don't take my anger out on other prisoners.
Page 3 of the journal.
I don't care about my grades no more. I'm about to shoot up the school and spend the rest of my life in prison.
Further on that page. Starting with first.
First off, I got my gun. It's a SP 2022 Sig Sauer 9mm. Second, the shooting is tomorrow. I have to access the gun and ammo. I am fully committed to this now. So yeah, I'm going to prison for life, and many people have about 1 day left to live.
You wrote, I have access to the gun and ammo. Is that correct?
I'm sorry, yes, if I didn't say that. I have access to the gun and ammo.
Now, it's apparent from the context of these pages in the journal that we're getting closer in time to November the 30th.
Yes.
Right? Because he obtained the SP 2022 Sig Sauer 9mm, and that's the actual model number and caliber of the murder weapon, right?
Yes. The
You
one we showed.
obtained that. Thank you. You obtained that on November the 26th of 2021.
Yes.
Okay. Now we're going to page 2. Can you please tell us what the defendant wrote there?
I was just looking up some bullet calibers in ELA and got called down to the office for it. I wasn't even scared. I was almost about to say I'm shooting up the school.
And he actually did get called down to the Oxford High School office on November the 29th, 2021. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay. ELA, that's a class that he was in that day?
English language arts. Yes.
On November the 29th, the school administrator called Jennifer Crumbley, his mother, and left her a message about the defendant looking up bullets while in class. Is that right?
Yes.
Now, continue on page 2. Can you please read us what the defendant wrote?
This is the last passage I will write. It's currently 29/11/2021, 1:23, exactly 1 day before the shooting.
The shooting began at 12:51 p.m. on November the 30th. So he's literally correct, exactly 1 day before the shooting. Is that right?
Yes.
Now, on November the 30th in the morning, you learned that the defendant was called down to the office again. Is that right?
Yes.
And you know why?
Yes. A teacher saw concerning written words and drawings on his assignment.
I want to refer you to Exhibit 39. So, in the morning of November the 30th,
Good word.
a
Good
teacher
word.
noticed the
Deranged.
defendant with this paper in front of him, and she took a picture of that paper and emailed it to administration.
Yes.
Okay. And then the defendant was subsequently removed from class and taken to the counselor's office. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
But by the time he got there, he had changed this drawing. Is that correct?
Yeah. So it appears the teacher took a picture of it, sent it up. He was, prior to being called down to the office, he he modified it.
Oh, he being the defendant?
The defendant, yes.
What's the
Now,
significance to you
now,
in this
now.
photograph, this picture?
There's a picture of the of a pistol, which is very similar to the murder weapon that we showed earlier. There's an image of a body with bullet holes and bleeding from the head on it. And then there's obviously a bunch of different writings reference his life is useless, the thoughts won't stop, help me.
And then once he was caught,
Yes.
he modified it to this. This is Exhibit 40.
Yes.
What do you see here?
He scribbled out the firearm and the drawing of the person who was suffered the bullet wounds. Scratched out some of the sayings that he had written. Wrote on there a video game this is. I love my life so much. OHS rocks. We're all friends here. Harmless act.
Now, from your review of the surveillance video from November the 30th, 2021, and right now we're talking about before the shooting started, the defendant was called down, was taken from his room, his classroom, to the counselor's office at 9:14 a.m. on November the 30th. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay. And and a counselor named Sean Hopkins called Jennifer Crumbley on 9:24 a.m. and left her a voicemail.
Yes.
She returned that phone call at 9:27 a.m. to Mr. Hopkins. Is that right?
Yes.
Both James and Jennifer Crumbley then had a conversation amongst themselves and arrived at the school at 10:37 a.m. and shown to Mr. Hopkins' office where the defendant had been waiting, and that was at 10:40 a.m. Is that correct?
Yes.
They had a meeting in Mr. Hopkins' office until 10:52 a.m. when the defendant is seen on the surveillance video leaving the office and going back to his class.
Correct.
The defendant's parents left the building at 10:53 a.m. and drove away in the same car. Is that correct?
Yes.
Now, even before the defendant was seen with this math worksheet, even before we sent down the office, he sent one last text message. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. Now, I do want to make a note so we're clear. The individual that the defendant was texting, that we've been referencing the text message conversation, that individual did not have access to his phone from at least October the 30th, 2021. So any text message sent to him after that date was not read or received. Is that correct?
That's right.
Okay. So I wanted you to read what the defendant wrote that other juvenile, November 30th, 2021, 8:21 a.m.
Hey man, times have gotten rough ever since you left. I don't know if you are dead or you moved away, but I hope you're doing well. I'm about to do something really bad and there's no turning back, so I'll probably never be able to see you again. I hope the best for you. I'm sorry for anything I've ever done.
Okay. And so we know he was removed from class at 9:14 a.m., but he had sent this about an hour before that even happened. Okay.
Yes.
And in the entire text message conversation that we identified as Exhibit 18, the defendant never tells the other juvenile his plan to shoot up the school. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay. What time? The shooting started at 12:51 p.m.
Yes.
Okay. Judge, in a minute, I'm going to play the surveillance footage. I'll ask the court to instruct the media not to broadcast any images on this, and I also want to let the victims' families know that in a minute we're going to play that footage. So if anybody would like to step out.
Thank you. At this time, this would be the appropriate time to step out if you do not wish to view this video, as well as to those of the media. Please do not broadcast this or photograph this in any way, shape, or form. That being said, people.
Well, guys, that was segment 1. And holy hate, what a kid. Yeah, she said that they had those Zans, 4 each. Now, I don't know, I've never taken them, but 4 of anything seems like an awful lot to me, but what do I know? So, guys, that's where we're going to leave this for now. I will find some time to try and get the second one up, but tomorrow we are going to take a look at Adam Montgomery because they are expecting opening statements as far as that case is going. So, guys, don't forget to subscribe, like, and share. Have a great evening. Try and get a good night's sleep after that nightmare of a stream. Wow, that kid. Okay, much love, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.